Fantastic. Okay, so just you guys remember the rules for public engagement. Only commission members are allowed to speak. So if you're a commission member, actually, hang on, my air conditioning is kind of loud here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. 2 seconds. A new air conditioning thing.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good. Excellent. If anybody has trouble hearing me, just say so. If the commission members could please unmute themselves, and everybody else needs to be muted. The only people in a meeting who may speak are commission members. At the end, we will have public comment. If there's anybody who'd care to comment, then we'll welcome those. Let's get started. I already called the meeting to order at 7:30. You guys received the revised May minutes. Were there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I would love to make a few additions, such as that Lee Pryor we had talked about him doing a draft for a fundraising letter that wasn't mentioned. And the other thing was that Gordon had suggested that we redo the Visit Cornwall map, and that's why Jane and I have picked that up, and it's on this month's agenda.
Cool. I will. I don't see Dee on the call, so I'll just make sure that she has that. I'll keep the minutes until Dee gets here.
Well, she can always watch them, right?
Oh, that's true. No, you're absolutely correct. Yeah.
I mean,
Excellent
there's no
point.
reason really, you know.
Understood.
You can watch them ad nauseum.
Right?
Yeah.
In case you have nothing else on the Disney Channel, you can watch the EDC show.
Yeah.
Okay. With those minutes and corrections, can we go ahead and approve the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Priscilla. And who seconds?
I do.
Excellent. Thank you. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Fantastic. They pass. Okay, we did not have presentations planned, and we did not get communications. And because this is a special meeting, anything that was received or asked to be added to the agenda after we submitted the minutes will not be discussed tonight. Okay, so any communications that came in after the agenda, which was Monday, can be discussed when we reconvene. Let's move on to the treasurer's report. I see that Kate Ward is on the phone.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, because I'm on my phone and
That's
I'm at
okay.
the lake, so it's
Nice.
a little hinky. Yeah. So the budget for last year was $4,675. Or no, sorry. What we have now in the bank account is $4,675.60. The budget was $5,195. So we actually have still $519.40 left of this year's budget.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if we want to spend that before it's.
That's actually,
does it roll over or?
No, that does not roll over. We do have a rollover amount, but that money is going to be used for the social campaigns for the hire and buy local and the Consider Cornwall campaign. So
Excellent.
that money was already earmarked, and that I'm going to be showing you that stuff tonight, as a matter of fact.
All right.
All right. Anything else from Kate Ward?
I can go over what plans I had for the CD secured loan.
Yeah, if you want to,
businesses.
Yes, please.
So this is something I still have to kind of hash out. The idea would be that we would get local investors to pool their money into a fund that we'd house at the bank, either National Iron. It would be easier at National Iron because I have pull there. So we would pool those funds into a CD. So the CD would secure the loan. The loan itself would be uncollateralized, except for that CD. So the idea then being that the interest rate charged would be like below market rate. But then we need to figure out kind of what parameters we would set on that in terms of amount, in terms of what the money can be for, and also people to sit on a loan committee that would approve these loans.
Wonderful.
So that's the idea. I'll spend the summer trying to recruit people and get the kind of specifics drilled down.
Okay, so the whole idea with that was, and Kate, correct me please if I'm wrong, that new businesses that needed funding for, capital, like whatever they needed, they would have to come to the committee and say, like I need $2,500 for signage, X amount for social media, what have you. An existing business, a startup business, like whatever it is, they, we just have to figure out how we would, have categories. So whether it would be new or existing businesses, or even an attracting business to this area. Is there anything else that
well, it would have to, I mean, in terms of attracting business to this area, it would have to, someone would have to be responsible for repaying the loan, because the idea with the investors is that, like market rates for CDs are, depending on how long the term is, about 1.5% for a long-term loan. So if we could, make the loan, a 3% loan or a 2% loan, that's still way below, what they would get for an uncollateralized loan at a bank.
Okay.
So the investors would still make more than what they were, than what they would make in a CD, but, not quite as much as they would make in the market.
Okay. So, like the whole idea is that would, the person who borrowed the money would then pay the money back.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know if it was grants or if it would just be a return. Okay. Fantastic.
No, I mean, because it would have to be a really high amount to basically create an endowment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility too, to just create an endowment for it, but I'm not sure what the legal ramifications of all that are. And then we would have to have somebody who managed the endowment as well.
Yeah.
And that gets pricey and kind of iffy. So
are there, just one more quick question, and we'll entertain if anybody else has questions on the commission. How much would you be shooting for to raise? I'm just curious.
I think at least $100,000.
Awesome. I love it.
But yeah, I mean, if I can get more, that would be even better.
Right? Beautiful. I love that idea. We've been talking about that for a while. So I really love that you're taking that on. Thank you. Any questions for Kate? Okie doke. Seeing none, then we will move on. Kate, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay. So anything from P&Z, water and septic that anybody wants to share? I was out of town for a little bit, so I'm not sure if I missed anything. I don't know if Gordon's on the call. I think I see Gordon on the call. If anybody has a report that they'd like to give, we can do that. Otherwise, we can move on. Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move on. Let's just talk. Did somebody, I just wondered if anybody said anything.
Nope. Saying, I think based on the information, it's just that they're waiting for, the town is waiting to hear from Johanna Hayes's office as to whether the monies that have been applied for, this is only what I've read. I don't have any inside information on this, but I think they're just waiting for the appropriations committee to decide whether they're going to allocate the money or not.
Okay, and how much?
And then I think the town will move forward from that based on what those answers are.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. I know you're not a selectman anymore. It's good that you're up to date on things. All right. Let's talk a little bit about promoting Cornwall. I think what I'm going to do, and I had indicated in the agenda, we were going to move that into unfinished business. So I'm going to, the town tourism campaign, the buy hire, and the website will all be covered in that section, as I indicated on the agenda. Are there any housing updates that we need to hear about? Priscilla, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to share with us.
Well, I've sat in on the last two big housing meetings and sent a comment to Anna Turmel and Janelle, complimenting them on the professionalism and the detail. The one thing I added, and I'm not sure it was appropriate, but I'll share it with you. There is a piece of land for sale in Cornwall Bridge on Route 7. where the old Matthews Bake Shop used to be. And I think that it's adjacent to Cougarman Village. There is a building on it which could possibly be converted to apartments. It's approximately 3 acres level land, and I think it would be an ideal location for a pair of those wonderful apartment houses, like the one which is adjacent to the general store in Cornwall Bridge. And so I had written that in as an idea, and and it was appreciated verbally back, but I don't know that it's ever going to happen. But I do think, from what I'm hearing, we definitely need affordable housing, and a lot of it in the form of rentals to accommodate younger people, working people who want to be and stay in Cornwall.
What was the price of that property, Priscilla? I forget.
It was listed at 4.25 with Sotheby's, and it's been on now for over a year, and I haven't seen any price reduction. I'm sure something could be negotiated, but I don't know. I don't have any firsthand knowledge. The original list price was $425.
Got it. Thank you. All right. Any other comments on housing from the commission? Okay, moving on. Jonathan, is it possible for you to share because I'd like Rocco Botto is going to just show the town website. If you can help him share the screen. And then I will also share the 2 social media campaigns.
Okay, you guys should have ability to share
Perfect.
now.
Okay, Rocco, you can unmute yourself and just walk us through the new website, if you would, please.
Yeah, sure. It's good to see everyone here tonight. So yeah, it's been really fun working with Dee over the past month or so to start building out the Consider Cornwall campaign on the new site, which is a new section, as you'll see here on the website. And we built a couple new pages like for your business. We've also linked to the business directory for your residents. We've also freshened. We've done our summer refresh on the site, as you can see. Got some great pictures from Laszlo. One of the first things that Dee and I did was we actually changed the font, the title or like the heading font on the website, which was really cool. We went to a font called Savoy, which is a serif font. You know, it's got some really nice kind of vintage accents to it. Very kind of formal style as well. So that was a big move for the Cornwall brand, definitely. And just having a great, great fonts in the mix here. We've also been working with the Cornwall Association on promoting the Barnyard Animals Project, which is really cool. And so, yeah, now with the new, what we've done so far is we've created a new blog post here on the site that talks about the new Consider Cornwall section that we added with the link to it. You'll also find a link to Consider Cornwall down here in the footer under the Consider Cornwall section here as well. So that's another way you can find it. And then you'll find it here in the navigation under Consider Cornwall. So the main landing page for this, which kind of houses all of the different pages, is right here. So that's cornwallct.org/consider Cornwall. So, thanks to Laszlo and all the great pictures he's provided over the years. So, we've got a great picture here of an artist in action. We talk about how Cornwall really does represent, the best of both worlds with that small town lifestyle and our vibrant like art and cultural scene here in town. Then here you'll see the different grid of the different pages here. So we've got for your residents, for your business, then a link off to our normal business directory on the site, the not-for-profit directory. So that's what we've got so far, and I'll show you each page quickly. Also too, Janet, we have, as you can see, we've got some real estate here for a couple more pages in the menu for a couple of those other campaign pages that we wanted to set up. So we should be good for that. So we'll be able to grow this out even more. Perfect. So for your residents is the page, that's really focused on, talking about what Cornwall has to offer and kind of what our value proposition is as a town when it comes to considering Cornwall for your residents. We've got a great kind of form here that will go over to EDC for people, considering Cornwall. We really want to, greet them and make it easy for them to reach out. So we have different interests here, like residential real estate, information on schools, information on the town, of Cornwall. So they can select that, fill this out. So a great kind of lead gen forum to kind of connect people that are interested in.
Rocco, can I ask a quick question while we're here? Under interest, you have starting a business or moving my business to Cornwall? Under the interests on so you have the little pull down menu. Do you have anything about moving or starting a business in Cornwall under interests?
Oh, yeah, we have the for your business page.
Okay,
I'll show you
so
in
that's
just a
where
sec.
that is. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, this page right here is more focused just on for your residents, and then
Okay.
I'll show the more business focused page
Okay.
next.
Got it.
So this is a really cool section here where it's called Meet Some of Your Cornwall Neighbors. So Dee has done some great work here to interview some great neighbors here in town, talking about, kind of like how they found Cornwall, about like, here's one about Gary and Casey talking about how, they are warmly welcomed at the newcomers tea, back in the day, and, their history in Cornwall and, how much they like it. We've got, one of a family here. Here's one of another family that moved from the West Village and talking about their Cornwall experience, which is great. We've got one here, another one here, like Virginia Gold, where her family goes back for a very long time here in Cornwall. And she's kind of like talking about her journey with Cornwall and family and things like that. So it's a great way to kind of tell the story for something like this and to really kind of make that connection with people here in town. So that's that section. The other big page that we built was for your business. And so we're gonna, highlight, consider Cornwall for your business. We're gonna talk about West Cornwall revitalization, the increase in visitation that we've seen, entrepreneurial optimization, and about how the town is a great place to, be an entrepreneur. We've got our, get in touch form here. So, the interest could be starting a business, starting like a retail business, service business. So a great form people can fill out to kind of start the process with EDC and everything like that. And then we've got here is similar to the for your residents page. We've got, again, the meet some local Cornwall business owners. So we'll highlight, the local and Libby Mitchell, Frank Way from Frank Food, who lives in Cornwall and has got an outstanding business over in Kent, relating to like food and his like, passion for it. We've got Bob and Meg Ensign with Cornwall Bridge covered, electric bike. So that's a cool profile here. And we've got Janet. And if you've got a headshot, or feel free to send it over and I can put it in there. And also too, we've got the business directory, like I said, the local not-for-profit page, which we've already had on the site, which will highlight, all the vibrant nonprofits here in town. And as I said, we've got room to grow here as well. So yeah, it's been a fun project working with Dee and EDC to just continue to enhance the site. A couple of things we're looking at is kind of like a phase 2 after we've finished up some of the last odds and ends with this would be we're thinking of starting to look more seriously at the explore section and trying to turn it a little bit more into like a visitors portal type of thing. So kind of shifting the architecture of some of the pages, I think, in the right way, really trying to have like a landing place for people that are like, that want to come visit Cornwall, that could show like what's going on, this
Rocco?
weekend.
Can I just make a comment? Wouldn't the local more fall under a non-for-profit organizations rather than a business, because they solely rely on the endowment from the West Cornwall Library for their function? So it's not really a business that relies on money coming in, going out. I think, you know, it's sort of, you know, other businesses really have to work hard. I find it a little out of place there, perhaps. And then one comment I would like to make, if you would like to streamline the website, like anything that is governmental, make it more archival without any interruptions on the site, because I tried to find minutes from years ago and really it's a pest. It's not easy to do. And while I have you here, I'd like to comment to that. And too many people call me, make the comment, and it's always the same thing. It's very difficult to navigate that segment, that archival segment of the site, of meetings and agendas and all of that. Make that more simple. That would be really helpful, because it doesn't need to be as entertaining as these pages. These are wonderful, and I think they serve their purpose.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for the feedback. You know, we've been trying to find ways we can just better make the town side of the website more intuitive. And I think you've hit it on the head with more of that archival approach, which, you know, WordPress, a platform like this, would offer that. So I think it's a matter of kind of re-architecting parts of that. So it is a lot more intuitive and clear. And that's something that our committee is identified as something that we want to continue to work on and just better optimize as well.
I have a quick question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Who answers, if people use that form to ask a question or a message, who is actually monitoring that and answering the questions?
I am.
Is that Janet? I have
yeah, the forms will come to me, because we do have a email set up. It's Cornwall EDC at gmail.com. And we'll there will be several other people who will be helping monitor that.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about that as we move into the next budget season. Okay, go ahead, Rocco.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. And like I said, kind of as a phase 2, we're going to start thinking a little bit more about the explore section, trying to turn it into a more interactive visitors type of portal. It could be kind of shifting around some things, just better optimizing some things, building a couple of new pages. So we should have some more information on that, I think, later in the summer. But we're off to a great start here, and it's been really fun to work with Dee and EDC on this stuff. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Rocco, I can just say that it looks fantastic. I mean, it's very visual and very engaging and amazing work. So thank you so much. I know Dee and I had worked hard on copy, and she took it and ran with it, and I can't say enough how pleased I am. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a fun project and a true labor of love, and it's what Cornwall's all about. So
exactly. Okay, I'm going to move over. Jonathan, am I able to share my screen now? Let's see.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds here. Let's see. Hold, please. To go find my it's photos. Hang on just a second. Chrome. Okay. Where will I start? I think I'm going to start with Consider Cornwall. Can you guys see that okay?
Nothing.
I can't see anything
so far.
All right, hold on. You see it now?
No.
No. Well, I'll listen.
At the bottom of your window, your Zoom window, there should be a green share.
Yeah, got it.
Icon.
Yep.
And then it will prompt you and say, do you want to share this?
Got it.
Should work.
Okay.
There we go.
You got it? Now, can you see the Consider Cornwall?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, so The Consider Cornwall has been that's been one of our logos for the visitor campaign. So it's Consider Cornwall both for tourists, so consider it a place to come and visit, or it was also Consider Cornwall as a place to move to, live, and work in. So it kind of plays both ways. And what we wanted to do was come up with a theme that was, if you haven't been everywhere, you haven't been everywhere until you've been here. So the kind of the fun thing is it's very visual. I will definitely be reaching out to Laszlo to come up with more of the pictures. But this was one of them. And then like what we wanted to highlight was the different beautiful areas of town. And again, this is just the the beginning of it. We're going to get more of those pictures. And Rocco, I'll probably reach out to you tomorrow so we can take some of those fonts. I just wanted to be able to present it and just kind of get everybody's input. And then we can take some of those wonderful pictures that Laszlo has and then really highlight those. I think those would be a lot of fun. But I wanted to just show you, the flavor of it. So I think I would definitely love to get that font and see how that plays too, because that could be fun. All right, so here's the first one. Hang on. See if I can, like showing off the nice beaches and such. On each one, the logo may be in a different place. It just kind of depends on the visual and kind of where it belongs. And in the descriptions, both on Facebook and Instagram, we'll have the description and it'll be hashtagged. So this will lead to the website so that they can go and take a look at it. You don't want it in your visual piece because it doesn't make any sense. But in both Facebook and Instagram, in our description or our little, the little area of copy, we'll be able to put the website, a little bit of copy, and then a hashtag as well. So we would do hashtag Consider Cornwall.
So Janet, is that replacing the Explore Cornwall, or?
This is, so the Consider Cornwall is just the campaign. So Explore Cornwall was the EDC branding. This is a campaign. So the campaign is for reaching out to visitors. So that's what we would be using. We're probably going to look at redoing our EDC logo. I've got a couple of ideas, and in July we'll be sharing those ideas. I was trying to get a drawing, so I've got a friend who's I'm just going to ask him to do a quick drawing because that's exactly what I'm thinking about, and I'll bring that to the committee just to get some ideas. The communication committee will probably see it first, so they'll be able to get some input on that. And then once we're all bought into that, we'll bring it to the commission. Make sense? Was that clear, Bianca?
Not really. It confuses me because I think the Explore Cornwall logo has worked really well and has been out there, and sort of I don't know why you would want to even
I think what we would maybe want to do.
It.
Yeah, there was okay, hold on just a sec. So I mean, I don't have a hard opinion about it. There's one of the gentlemen who moved up into Cornwall is actually in charge of tourism in Philadelphia. So, kind of pulled him into helping our committee with this effort. So what we can do is we can take the Explore Cornwall logo, which has kind of been our logo, for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, I think. And we can put it up against something else and see what the commission, how we feel about it. And if everybody, for EDC branding, if we want to stick with Explore Cornwall, great. But you can have different logos for different campaigns. So this is Consider Cornwall as our summer campaign. Does that make sense now? Okay, well, we'll work on that. I'll work on that. Okay, heard. Okay. Again, it goes along with the same theme. I just wanted to get a picture of something down in Cornwall Bridge. So just to give you an idea. And I obviously, we'll be pulling in a lot of Laszlo's photographs because I think they're just spectacular. Yeah. This just gives you an idea. I've been trying to go to different places just to get an idea. I actually love this photograph. I love the way it lays out. But anyway, it gives you guys a flavor. Any comments on this? I've been not heard too much commentary from the communications committee. Once I hear that, we can bring more of this back to the commission. But just wondering if anybody has any thoughts.
So who's the communications committee?
So Arnon D, Lee Pryor, and myself.
Uh-huh.
And I
Okay.
think Jane was working on the flyers. I know you were working on some of that stuff with her also. So like there'll be different committees that are working on different things. And then as we're working on different pieces like the flyer, there may be 2 people or 3 people assigned to that kind of effort, just so we can keep things moving as we're in between meetings. Make sense? Okay. Okay, this is the next one. This is a totally different thing. I'll move on to this just a minute. Hang on. So this is the I need to move out of this. Hang on. I don't want to be here. Here we go. Okay, I don't need to rate Canva's experience. I love Canva. Okay, so this is the Cornwall Buy Local campaign. This is one where we are really focusing on the people in Cornwall and just encouraging them to visit local shops, buy local food, spend money in Cornwall when and if all possible. So this is this campaign. I've got a little bit of copy here. Rocco and I, along with Dee, Arnon, and Lee, will be working on the Buy Local page as well as the Consider Cornwall page, just with a little bit of this information. So here's a little bit of a blurb. Can you guys see that okay? Okay. If you want to just take a look at that, I won't read it because I hate it when people read stuff to me. So it's really just, it just lets businesses know how they can identify themselves. And what we're looking at is doing some posters, more flyers. I mean, I don't think we're going to go printing 3x5 posters because that doesn't seem practical, but having flyers that businesses can post so that we can just see, each of the businesses, whether a service business, a retail business, whatever, anybody who is engaging and selling something to the public, we'll be able to do that. And then I was going to talk to the three guys because they buy a ton of swag. And they've got a great lead on these beautiful little stickers. So we could get, small stickers made for, a very inexpensive price. And then, people could stop by the local. I thought it'd be kind of fun to tie in the local with it because then anybody who hasn't been in the local, it just ties into the whole campaign. I just thought that'd be fun. Any comments on the copy here? And you can also take a look at it and send me comments later if you'd like to do that too. Duncan, did you have something?
Yeah, who is the campaign targeted to?
The campaign is targeting Cornwallians. So just encouraging Cornwallians to hire people locally, to buy stuff locally, to eat locally. If they can spend their money in any way, shape, or form in Cornwall, it benefits the community and it helps our economy.
And this is a media campaign to reach a market that's 6 square miles.
So this is just a campaign just to, we can focus on different businesses that people might not even know about. So it's just bringing attention to the different businesses and the different stuff that's available.
Sorry, if the market is the people who live in this community.
Yes.
You developed a campaign. So how are people in the community going to see this campaign?
They're going to see it on social media. They'll see social media and they'll see flyers. So anybody who is either living here or visiting here, if they get on social media, which many people who visit here for the summer, for example, will want to know about the businesses that they can support. So if you are within the limitations of Cornwall and you utilize social media or go to our post offices, our liquor stores, our banks, or what have you, then you'll see the flyers too. And the stickers will be available in the local.
But could there also be a flyer in the lovely Cornwall Chronicle?
Oh, good
I think
heavens,
that,
yes.
because that
Good heavens,
just
yes.
like goes to every household
Yeah,
and
sure.
is the most effective, I think.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, if
you do flyers.
if that's the market, it's a hyper local thing you're trying to do. I'm not sure I see the social media being a way to reach Cornwallians.
Well, we can talk about that. I think, from the social media standpoint, it's just an easy way to reach out to people and, to raise awareness to people who maybe, if they're not going into some of our local places, it might be an easy way to reach them.
Right.
It's certainly inexpensive. And, we'll also see, who's going there. So we'll get some information on the analytics, and that's something we can talk about too. And it's very tweakable, Duncan. So if we're not reaching the people we want to reach, it's very easy to tweak and it's super cheap to do so. Any other comments on that? And then go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering whether we're duplicating the same kinds of things with Visit Cornwall, Explore Cornwall, Buy Local Cornwall, or whether these things are distinct.
Well, the Buy Hire Local campaign, you know, it has a different focus than, you know, than the other campaign would. I mean, you're targeting different people.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Jane?
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. If you have another question or you think of something else, just say so. All right. So let's just take a look at how we would kind of brand this campaign. And again, this is kind of preliminary stuff, just some fun stuff. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody see anything that rocks their boat? Let me show them to you again. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody have any thoughts on which one kind of jumps out at you?
Only the fifth one mentions Cornwall.
Sorry?
I said only the fifth one mentions Cornwall.
Well, it will keep in mind that we will also, you know, like anytime we have that, we can add that in there, Simon. That's no problem at all. It's more focusing on, you know, kind of the look and feel of it. Because we can, you know, we'll put Cornwall CT on each one of these.
Can we see number 3 again?
Number 2, hold please. Let's see. This is number 1. This is number 2.
Which is number 3 is what I wanted to see.
Number 3. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Number 3. Oh, is that number 4?
No, 3.
Anybody see anything that jumps out at you?
I would vote for number 1 or number 3.
Number 1 or number 3? So here's number 1. And here is number 3. Anybody have any feelings about either of those?
I prefer 3.
You like 3? Okay.
I like 1, yeah.
Okay. Bianca, what do you think?
I think they all speak to food. I mean, like eat local. That I can see with almost all 4 of them. You know, fork and spoon, eat. The others have vegetables in them. Yep. I mean, I wouldn't really, you know, associate shopping with that. shopping like at the 3 Guys.
Yep.
Or Ian Ingersoll's.
Yep.
It's a little restrictive.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's a tricky one, really.
Okay. All right. I think what we'll probably do, I guess we'll have to think about, you know, like how to kind of incorporate other things into it. So do people like the kind of look and feel of this one? Like if it had, I mean, because I kind of like the type, I kind of like the way that's laid out too. And we can put, you know, obviously Cornwall CT on there. But maybe we can mix up some of this stuff and have packages and things like that. So let me play around with that a little bit more, and I can probably send out another variation of this if that would be useful.
Especially like tradespeople. I mean, you need hammers and nails and paint buckets and things like that. I mean, that's what you hire, right? And you know, people doing a lawnmower.
Yep.
I don't know.
I know.
It's hard
I see exactly what you mean.
You know.
Let me just think about that, because I kind of dig the heart shape. I mean, I love the black and white. I don't think it would be, I'm not an artist, so, you know, please, you know, bear with me. Neil and I were talking about this. I'll get some ideas from Neil too. He's really good at that. And then I'll bring this back to the committee. And then, you know, perhaps what we can do is once the committee has said, you know, like, this is what we recommend, I can send it back out to the commission just so you guys can take a look at it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
agree with what you're saying.
about recruiting tradespeople and stuff would be
Yep.
good.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah,
we had the
and-
trade,
yeah.
retail, just more retail and trade shown here, but you guys like this look.
Crafts.
Crafts.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
like
Janet, if I
potters.
could, just one more comment. I think I
Sure.
would also be grateful when you bring this back to have a bit more of the background understanding on what is the problem we're trying to solve with this campaign. I still don't understand why a sort of graphic design campaign, whether it's social media or whatever, however you're sending it out to the minuscule population of Cornwall to buy locally is a good idea. It just I don't think there's anyone that I've met in Cornwall that doesn't do everything they can to buy, shop, hire local. So I'm just not sure I understand the problem you're trying to solve with this.
So I think a lot of it, and again, this is one of the goals that we had set, at the beginning of the year. So, like a buy local campaign, buy and hire local, was something that we agreed is one of our goals. So, I mean, we can, keep this, I mean, we're not going to be spending a ton of money on this. It's going to be, half of the $519. And we could even allocate a smaller amount if we want to do that. More of it is just, I think, the solidarity around the businesses, reminding people,
Right.
and people who are here for the summer, who are maybe not from Cornwall but are a part of our community at different times. They can get, raising awareness of what they can get at Three Guys, raising awareness of some great hostess gifts you could get at Bianca's shop, for example. So it's more of a just, we can do highlights on, the stuff that's new also, and just let people know, here's this new business, here's what you can get from them.
Right.
So that was where we were coming from, and just more awareness of, what you could buy locally. And so that's really what it was.
So,
go ahead, Bianca.
So from my experience, having had a business here in this town for a long time, there are plenty of people who are so unaware of what's available in Cornwall. And with this turnover of new residents coming into this town, it's actually really, I think it would be helpful to them to allow for them to understand what Cornwall is about, what is here, what they don't have to order on Amazon. Because when you go to the post office, I mean, it's sad that everything works that way when you have service people in this area. I mean, this is my slogan. It's support your neighbor, strengthen your local economy. It's really important, and so many people are not really aware of that. It's also, I think, using local businesses, be it just Cornwall or even other towns around us, also creates community. You run into people, you meet your neighbors, and I think that's what we are lacking more and more. We have so many different churches which pulls apart our communities. We don't have we don't have a really great grocery store here in this town where people run into one another. We have, I run into people at Stop and Shop or elsewhere. So, I think a restaurant in the future, or, a multitude of businesses like that, create community, which we don't really have necessarily in Cornwall. The awareness of, what's going on and such.
Yeah. Thank you, Bianca.
So
I think that was very helpful. Duncan, did that illuminate things a little bit better then?
Partly. I mean, I'm a little late to the game. I wasn't here when you were deciding these things, so I have to. I'll get along with this.
Okay. Well, the good news is you will be involved in the next round of goals, so you can have a great impact on that. Okay. Any other comments?
What's missing from this page is a line ahead of shop eat hires, something like make a difference, make Cornwall better.
Hey, Simon, do me a favor, if you don't mind. Feel free to copy that and add any copy that you would like to. I would welcome that. So if anybody on the commission wants to throw in their 10 cents, 50 cents, whatever cents you want to apply, do it. You know, when you have more people participating, it's all the better. I mean, I'm a copywriter, it's what I do, but when you have different people looking at it from different perspectives, it just makes for a richer experience. So I'm happy to have it. Feel free to just take this, add whatever you wish, and email it to me. I'd love to have it in the next couple days if that's doable. Just let me know, because Rocco has graciously agreed to work with us on this. And you know, we'd like to get this effort rolling while we have lots of folks in town. So anybody who wants to share it, I say rock on. I really appreciate it. All right, anybody else? All right, hearing none. Hey, Jane, can you talk about the Visit Cornwall flyer? I know you and Bianca have worked on this.
Yeah, Gordon mentioned it at the last meeting that he'd like to see it reissued, and I thought that was a good idea. I have found it'll cost about $550 to print 3,000 of them, but that doesn't include we may have to pay a small amount to have the copy updated. We have to delete the things that are no longer there, add the things that have come. And I have put a thing in the Chronicle just asking people to let me know if there are additional things to include that I'm not aware of.
Okay.
I'm aware of the 3 guys. I'd like to include Frank's new place, even though it's not quite there yet. The local, the union, my own pottery, but I'm hoping there'll be some other things. And I want to add that there is a section on there for events that are town-wide or open to the public. So if people are aware of annual events, you know, like the Ag Fair and things like that, that might not be listed, we could add those on.
Okay.
And then I have a question, which is, I just put it out there for everybody, and that is whether you want to keep the look of it or not. This is that quote is basically using the digital format that's already in existence, not doing it all over. So that would be keeping the basic look of what it was like before, for those of you who've seen it and remember it.
Yes.
It's basically a 3-fold, simple black line on off-white paper.
Do you have, I mean, so Bianca, because you and Jane were working on this,
Right.
I mean, the speediest way to do this is to, you know, take our look at our budget, because we have a new budget cycle starting July 1 that we can add, you know, we can allocate monies towards that. The simplest path, and while we have, you know, people in town, is to, you know, allocate the money to update it and then print it. You know, and that's certainly a faster path than, you know, hiring someone to revise it. You know, perhaps you guys have what would you recommend? I guess is what do you recommend to the commission?
Well, if we can get money allocated for it, you know, it's Bart Arnold who would draw in the properties onto that map. He can do that very quickly, and someone else can just plug them in. I think we've talked with Kara Weigold. She would be willing to do all that work.
Good.
And it's then minimal, just the listings of businesses and, you know, taking things out that are not there anymore, such as the hairdresser, and just shifting things around a little bit. That can be done pretty quickly once we have an okay that we can go ahead. I know that Bart Arnold sort of expects to get paid about 125 for the you know, his design stuff.
Yeah,
he would have to add.
Okay, it seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I could ask, you're saying Bart Arnoff, is he the original map designer?
Yes, he's the original guy who's worked also on the, you know, the Miles of Smiles maps.
Right. Okay.
That's how I had brought him in back then, to sort of create a roundabout in Cornwall, because our town is so, you know, pulled apart, and with that funky kind of, like, you know, shortening of roads, it sort of like gives it a look as if though we are one happy family in the center of everything. So
okay. The other thing, I mean, as a kind of a footnote, I would love to see, Jane, if you and Bianca could also talk to the Miles of Smiles place, and let's get that, you know, like the Cornwall version of that map really updated. I know I saw some of the work that Falls Village has done, and I mean, it looks like it's, you know, pretty happening over there. So it would be really fun to be able to do that. And those maps fly too.
I
When you
think
say
they,
updated with individual properties and so on, because I think that's pretty much how that works. You have to, you know,
right.
do an ad on it in order to be on it.
But
Yeah.
I think Falls Village, because they have a what do they have, a group that worked actually with the Miles of Smiles map in order to also add hiking trails and things like that. I mean, we can do that for next year with them.
Yes. Yes.
We should put that on our, and I'll talk to Mary and see what needs to be, you know,
Okay.
involved in the whole process to
Yes.
put that on there.
Yes. I think that'd be, I
okay.
do think that should be one of our goals
Okay.
for next year. So
Yeah, I
I
think so too.
put a
That's a good
big
idea.
star next to that because,
Yes.
you know, it's definitely, it's a wonderful way to get some traction.
Yeah.
So
If I could comment for a second here.
Sure.
One of the things that Jane was saying about adding Frank's in there, I think that's a great idea, and just say opening fall of 2021, and that would answer that question. That's a large enough leeway to make it appropriate. If this is the buy local campaign, which I think is what the context of this map and is, I'm not so sure that we should be including hiking trails or other things on the map. That would be a different map. This map is specifically, I would say, commercial or business or things that are involved in the you know, buy, eat, and hire local part of the program, and not, you know, we don't want to get it muddied with a number of other things in there too. I just think you want to be careful of how much you're attempting to put on one piece of paper.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I think that, I'm sorry, hang on just a second, Bianca.
Yeah,
So-
I think he just confused, you know, what you just mentioned about the Miles of Smiles map versus the Cornwall Visitors map. The Cornwall Visitors map isn't going to show all the hiking trails
Right.
or stuff like that. No.
Right.
We
Exactly.
don't put that on there. That's too
Okay.
extensive.
Yeah, the Miles of Smiles would have a lot more of that kind of stuff
Yeah,
on there.
exactly.
Okay. Does that make sense, Richard?
Which one's the buy local map?
That's the Visit Cornwall, the just
That's
the one
that's
for
not the
Cornwall.
miles and miles.
Okay,
and smiles?
Jonathan is actually holding it up right now, Richard, if you look at it.
Well, I can't
No,
really see him
they're two
because-
different things. That's the one that has like the trees on the front. It's like a trifold. See, Visit Cornwall.
Which one is that?
That is the Visit Cornwall flyer, because it says Visit
Ah.
Cornwall right on there.
There we go.
Inside of it,
Got
Yes.
all the businesses listed on
what's
the back.
inside of it though?
The inside of it is a map with the businesses listed.
Yeah, we're starting to run out of these. People come.
I
and get 'em.
understand, but you're saying that's the Miles of Smiles map.
No.
No, they're two different things, Richard.
This is one specifically to encourage people to visit Cornwall. It's not even necessarily the buy local one. It's to try and, it's something that we could distribute at other places. In other words, bed and breakfasts and so on around the general northwest corner, hoping that people will visit Cornwall and then they can buy when they get here.
Right.
That map is made by the same individual.
It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
So
the
therein lies the confusion. It is a Miles of Smiles map.
Yes,
It's just
you're right.
not their map.
Correct.
It's
Right.
our map made by them. So therein lies. the
Not by them.
confusion.
Okay.
It is created by them. We probably have to pay.
No. It's not created by them. It's created by their graphic person for us. Miles of Smiles has never been involved in it. Bart Arnold, the graphic designer for Miles and Smiles.
That's the only confusion. I mean, it's the
Yes,
same
yeah,
artist
yeah,
doing
yeah.
two different projects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we can tackle that, you know, at our next meeting.
Exactly.
If you and Jane can, you know, take a look at that. I mean, we can look at allocating those funds in July. We just need to get budget. If we do need to have a quick special meeting to just allocate those funds, then we can do that.
Okay. How do we arrange that? We email you about that when we're ready?
Yeah. So just all you need to do is you need to just get the budget that you need.
Right.
And you know, if you want 3,000 printed and you, I mean, and we could even, I mean, we could allocate those funds now. I mean,
We could do that, I would
Yeah.
say, right?
I know roughly what it is. It's going to be about $550 for printing,
okay,
$125 for Bart Arnold to update the images. And then Kara Weigel charges $45 an hour.
Okay.
It's a little hard to know exactly how long it would take her, but that's roughly what it's going to cost. If we
Okay.
could allocate enough of that so we can, you know, the idea would be to get it done quickly so that it's out and about over the summer months. when the
Okay.
people-
So do you want to just allocate, you know, like $1,000 to that, or $750 or something like that?
I should
800?
50 is probably closer to what we need. than
Yeah,
1,000.
800.
800. Okay.
And then we can always spend less. You know,
Yeah.
that I think is the factor would be Kara.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to allocate the funds from the upcoming budget starting July 1 of $800 towards the Visit Cornwall flyer.
And could I hear the breakdown again of how that money's being spent?
Okay.
I missed that.
These are quotes that I got without having actually done all the work, but 550 is for the printing of 3,000 of them. Bart Arnold, I think, told Bianca $125 for his artwork to update the buildings that are not yet on it. And then Kara Weigel charges $45 an hour. She would be doing the sort of typesetting, you know, preparing it to be print ready in terms of the new text that has to be put. We have to take some of the old text out, put new text in where businesses have closed and new ones have come in and that sort of thing. So I don't know exactly what hers would come to, but let's say $200 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
That's a guess on hers. So what does that total up to? Somebody who's mathematical.
I'm working on it.
That's
So I had-
875.
Yeah, 800.
875.
Yeah.
How many copies did we make last time?
I think they've been reprinted periodically. I know that the
I think
last,
the last thing was 2018.
yeah,
Sounds right.
2019 was 1,000 copies again. We've had at least, you know, I don't know how many thousand copies printed over the years. Because I think we started in 2011 with a map.
Okay.
But
All
we
right.
can print fewer, but the price goes down if you print them all at once.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve an allocation in our next year's budget for 875?
I'll move it.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Okay.
from Priscilla.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of allocating $875 to the Visit Cornwall flyer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Excellent. Ladies, you have $875 as of July 1.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So all you need to do is,
Work.
yeah, right. You know, just you need to get
Yeah.
a written, you know, like a written invoice.
Yes.
And then you can send those to me. I can just approve it so that our budget, and then, you know, we'll be revising our budget, but we'll be mindful that we've already
Mhm.
spent $875.
It might
All
even
right.
be less.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the meantime, we will be working on the Buy Hire local campaign, the second round of the town tourism, and this wonderful flyer. So that kind of stuff will be worked on. The committee will be making a recommendation, and then we can come back to the commission. We'll just send you all the recommendation of the committee. Does that sit okay with everybody?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And we've, you know, like, I'll just make notes of the comments that you made about including trade and retail and crafts and such
Yeah.
into the logo. That was excellent commentary. All right, our next official meeting is in September. We may need to have a special meeting here or there. But this is, we're on a little bit of a break, but there's still going to be a lot of stuff going on. So
Could you
Rocco,
Could you unshare your screen?
oh,
Jen?
sure.
Janet, I just wanted to ask if we could possibly have our meeting in person in September.
Yes, that is the plan. Actually, I had a conversation with Gordon about that, and that is what we are planning to do. If anybody does not feel comfortable, we will, we can always set up a Zoom. You guys can just let me know. I want all of us to stop for a second and say a huge thank you to Jonathan, who made like my life easier. I know all of your lives easier, but Jonathan, thank you so much. And thank you to Richard Griggs for doing the filming of this. Really appreciated that also. So thanks to both of these fine gentlemen for making us able to deliver these meetings to the public who might not be able to join us. I'm going to pause for a second and just say if there's any of the members of the public who would like to speak, you can have the floor for a minute or so. Okay, hearing none.
Janet,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question, just so.
Hey, Bill.
I got an email from the first selectman this
Oh,
morning.
I'm sorry. I thought that was Bill Berry. Sorry, Duncan.
Yeah, it's Duncan. So
yes.
I got the email this morning from the first selectman with the subject line meaning for the EDC meeting tonight, including this sort of email with fairly inflammatory comments. And you've suggested that we're not going to discuss that, or?
We're not going to discuss that tonight because we had no, if you'll see on our agenda, we had communications none. So we have to stick with our agenda for special meetings. We're rather limited as far as that goes.
So,
but what we can do is we can.
What that means is that and we're not meeting until September. So what that means is that you're comfortable, the members of the Economic Development Commission are going to respond to comments coming from the community on this communication for the next 2 months without any guidance from you and the commission?
Well, we can't discuss it in this meeting.
How are you going to guide us on how to respond to this?
Well, I guess the bottom line is, and again, we're really not supposed to be talking about this, but I think we can, keep it short and sweet. It was brought in front of the commission. The commission, voted on this. The vote was unanimous. There was discussion. So, it was.
Maybe something would be to, if necessary, to satisfy Duncan and/or the public, would be to have a special meeting between now and September 1st, if that's in fact what. I'm not suggesting that we do that. I'm just saying that would be an alternative or a way to do it, because it's not available to add it to the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is that what you're saying, Janet? We can't add it to tonight's meeting.
Can't add it to tonight's meeting. We can't add anything to tonight's agenda just because of the special meeting. I would not want to have a special meeting to talk about that. I don't. It was a unanimous vote, and so there's really not much to talk about, to be honest.
A unanimous vote means that we're all on the hook for that decision. So it means that we all have to be prepared to talk about it in the community. And you're saying then that you're comfortable with us saying whatever we feel we need to say to respond to this issue, which is likely to be rolling around the community.
I haven't seen anything or heard anything in the community today. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But I think the simplest answer is just straight up. It was brought to the board. There was explanation made as to who it was. There were absolutely no conflicts of interest, and the board voted unanimously. I did not participate in that vote, so I recused myself from that vote.
All right, so that's what we need to know.
Yeah, so it's just there's as I think my either my husband or my dad, I'm not sure which one, always says there are no fish under the ice there. So there's not a whole lot to talk about, to be honest. If anybody has any questions, you just give me a shout. But I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about. Anything else?
I'm a little uncomfortable with that. I just want to say it for the record that I think I'm new to the committee, so I've taken a somewhat passive role in some of these things, thinking that I just sort of see what decisions have been made before I was there and so on. But
sure.
I'm hopeful that when we meet in person, it will be a little bit easier to discuss things like that.
Totally
because
agreed.
I've
Totally
had
agreed.
questions along the line that I haven't been comfortable in this format to really address. But I think if we meet in person, there's a little bit more give and take and dialogue, and we can all address those things a little more easily. At least I hope.
Yeah,
And then
I
we also
totally
said
agree,
that
Jane.
we're informed because we don't know what's what yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, our plan is to have our meeting in person, and you know, anything we need to discuss, we'll discuss. All right. Anything else from the commission? Oh, public. Nancy, do you want to say something? You need to unmute yourself, Nancy.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted.
You are.
I don't know which campaign this was a part of, but it was the part of the presentation where you focused on 5 or 6 of the businesses in West Cornwall. And I really think that there are other places in Cornwall where we hope people would shop, and that would be in Cornwall Bridge and out here at the 3 pottery, maybe more than that potteries, but 3 that I know of. I really think that you need to focus on more than just a few.
Oh yeah, no, that was just representative, Nancy. Just to be clear, that was just to give you an idea, but we will be very mindful to focus on the different areas of town very carefully. That I can promise you. That was just representative, just so you could get a flavor for it.
But it all focused on West Cornwall, so I would hope in the future that it would be more
This is going to be balanced. Absolutely, Nancy. Absolutely. No problem at all. Heard. All right. We are out of time. Is there anything else anybody on the commission would like to say?
I just wanted to mention, because I feel like there might be some confusion, but with the special meetings, there's a state law that you can't add anything to the agenda.
Right. Yeah, so I'm just being a little cautious about that.
Wanted to make
Is this a special meeting just because it was rescheduled?
part of the
Yes. Yes.
So Richard is correct. You would need to have another special meeting and put it on the agenda before the agenda is published. You know,
yes.
This time we published the agenda.
Yes.
Then got the communication.
Yes.
So just to my understanding,
counting boards, like the Board of Selectmen can't add anything to the agenda at a special meeting.
Right.
But Janet, for these meetings, you've encouraged us to raise ideas about other projects and initiatives. But technically, then we can't do that if that's not on an agenda. I don't see where I would do that.
Yeah, that's correct. This is a little bit of an oddball meeting. And I'm sorry about that.
There's a regular set of meetings that each year in November or December, the regular meetings for the following year, the following calendar year, are discussed by the committee and voted on, and then not registered, but they're submitted to the town clerk. And those are the regular meetings for that committee or group or organization for the year. Those are the regular meetings. And those regular meetings can have additions or changes or all different kinds of things. Those are the regular meetings. Special meetings are like this meeting, which are come up for a variety of reasons. Something has to be discussed, something has to get changed. It's in a new location than originally planned. It's at a different time. It's a different week. Those are special meetings, and the agenda. I'm just reiterating this for both Jane and Duncan's case, Jane and Duncan's situation. There's a few other kinds of meetings that take place. I can't remember what they are. One of them is an emergency, and there's something else, but that is probably a more specialized kind of thing. So the regular meetings are the ones that are filed with the town clerk for the upcoming calendar year. And now I think our
I think that clarifies for everybody. All right. I will be, reaching out to committee members, and we'll be still moving business forward, and you'll see communications during the summer also. So have a great summer, and we'll see you in September.
All righty.
Thank you.